Hello, good day everyone. I am Cheryl May E. Coronado and I am the reporter of a topic USSR, Geofian Scale, or also known Geophysical Institute of the Academy of Sciences by Medvedev, 1953. So in this, we'll be able um, to tackle about the introduction of my topic. So what is Geofian Scale? Modified Mercalli scale, Medvedev-Sponhener-Karnik scale, relationship between modified Mercalli and Medvedev-Sponhener-Karnik scale. So later on, malalaman nyo kung bakit inintroduce ko din itong um, modified Mercalli scale and Medvedev-Sponhener-Karnik scale. So, the Geofian scale is very similar to the modified Mercalli scale, both having been developed from the same earlier scales. So that's why gi-introduce ko din tong modified Mercalli kasi as you can hear is similar lang sila. So the Geofian scale, however, incorporates some quantitative evaluation on ground motion in addition to sensation and structural response. The MSK 1964 scale, which is very similar to Geofian scale, was proposed by Medvedev, Sponhener, and Karnik by 1963 and 1964. In Sponhener 1965 as an international intensity scale. It is now being tried experimentally in Japan and apparently in use in Russia. So, what is Geofian scale? Scale. So, Geophysical Institute of Academy of Sciences by Medvedev 1953 typically refers to a research institution associated with a country's national academy of sciences. These institutes are often dedicated to the study of geophysics, which is the scientific study of the Earth's physical properties and processes, including its magnetic and gravitational fields, seismic activity, and various aspects of the Earth's interior and surface. So, similar to modified Mercalli scale and incorporates some quantitative evaluation of ground motion in addition to sensation response. So, different countries may have their own geophysical institutes or similar research organizations that conduct studies in research in geophysics. These institutes often play a crucial role in monitoring and in understanding natural phenomena like earthquakes, volcanoes, and the Earth's magnetic field. Among other geophysically phenomena, the specific activities and focus on such institutes can vary from one country to another. So, next, modified Mercalli scale. So, ito yung modified Mercalli scale and intensity and observed effects. So, i-introduce ko tong modified Mercalli scale kasi based on I have mentioned kanina is very similar lang sila ng Geofian scale. So, since wala naman akong nahanap masyado na data sa Geofian scale, so ito yung ma-introduce ko muna sa inyo. So, so don't worry kay alos same lang sila ng effects. So, in intensity, so we have here 13 intensities. So, the first one would be felt by only a few people under very special circumstances. So, ang intensity 2 naman felt by only people at rest, especially on the upper floors of buildings. So, intensity 3 felt noticeably indoors, especially on upper floors of buildings. Intensity 4 felt indoors by many people, outdoors by a few, some awakened. Intensity 5 felt by nearly everyone, many awakened, dishes and windows, break plaster cracks. Intensity 5 felt by everyone, many frightened and run outdoors, heavy furniture moves. Intensity 6, everyone runs outdoors, light to moderate damage in ordinary structures. Intensity 8, considerable damage in ordinary structures, chimneys and monuments fall. Intensity 9, considerable damage in all structures, ground cracks, underground pipes break. Intensity 10, structures destroy, rails, bends, landslides occur, water splashes over banks. Intensity 11, few structures left standing, bridge destroyed, broad fissures in the ground, underground pipes break. Intensity 12, damage total, waves seen in ground surface, object thrown in the air. So, hanggang intensity 12 lang pala siya, guys. So, the next one, so, Medvedev's Spanhiner-Karnik scale. So, also known as MSK or MSK 64. So, a microseismic intensity scale used to evaluate the severity of ground shaking on the basis of observed effects in an area of the earthquake occurrence. So, giproposed to siya ni Sergei Medvedev, USSR, and Wilhelm Spanhener, East Germany, and Vit Karnik in Czechoslovakia in 1964, based on the experiences being available in the early 1960s from the application of modified Mercalli intensity scale and the 1953 version of the Medvedev scale, also known as Geofian Scale. So, itong Medvedev's Spanhiner-Karnik scale, so, meron din siyang 12. So, actually, same lang sila nung yung kanina na modified Mercalli scale. So, yan, not perceivable, hardly perceivable, may weak, may largely observed, fairly strong, strong, very strong, damaging, destructive, devastating, catastrophic, and very catastrophic. So, one example of the very catastrophic and all surface and underground structure completely destroyed, landscape generally change, rivers change paths, or tsunamis. So, I have example here. So, basahin ko na lang. So, earthquake of magnitude 7 of the 12-point Soviet scale occurred in the Soviet Republic of Tajikistan on January 1989. So the epicenter was located in the village of Sharor on the Soviet-Afghan border, some 50 kilometers southwest of the republic's capital, Dushanbe. While the earthquake affected mainly mud houses, the greatest material damage and human loss seem to have been caused by a subsequent 2-kilometer-long landslide. So, the United Nations representative in Moscow reported that the village of Shakora, Akolibolo, and Akolipoyen were destroyed by the mud landslide. Roads and communication lines were disrupted, and thousands of heads of livestock were buried in the mud. So the total number of dead reached 274 people, including 100 children. In Sharora, 207 were reported dead, and in Ocolibolo, 67. The population in Acolipuen had time to escape. So that's an example of the very catastrophic. So prior to the development of ground motion recording instruments, earthquakes were studied by recording the description of shaky intensity. This led to the development of intensity scales, which describe the effects of earthquake motion in qualitative terms. So an intensity scale usually provides 10 or 12 grades of intensity, starting with most feeble vibrations and going up to most violent. So therefore, the most commonly used intensity scales are the modified Mercalli intensity scale and the Medvedev-Sponhiner-Karnik intensity scale. So yun yung introduce ko kanina. So yun yung most commonly na ginagamit na scales in earthquakes. So um, both scales are quite similar except that the MSK scale is more specific in its description of the earthquake's effects. Medvedev's Sponhiner Karnik scale devoted by MSK or MSK 64 is a macro-seismic intensity scale which is used to evaluate the severity of ground shaking on the basis of observed effects in an area of the earthquake occurrence. It was proposed by Sergei Medvedev, USSR, Wilhelm Sponhiner, East Germany, and Vit Karnik, Czechoslovakia in 1964, rather. So, that would be all. Thank you.